Hello everybody, my name is Grim Reaper 2458, and today I have something really special. So, the thing I've been working on since April of 2021, and it started as a idea that I had from a video I watched. I'll get more into that later. And then it evolved into what it is today. And what we're talking about today is this guy. Now, at first, you might not know what this is. It's an integration consisting of, I believe, 5 blasters. It's a buzzsaw, a strife, a stampede, a firefly, and a chrono barrel. And it's all combined into one, and it's a really nicely aesthetic base blaster. So the video I watched was, I forget the person's name, but I'll definitely put a link in the description box below of the video I saw on it. It was a buzzsaw, strife, firefly, retaliator stock, and it had some other super soaker, I believe, bits in it. A really cool mod. I don't know if the guy's still into Nerf. I know he doesn't make Nerf related content anymore, but when I saw the video of the buzzsaw and strife, I knew I had to make one. I had to beat up strife. It wasn't really in good condition. It was a modular strife that I picked up off of eBay on Amazon. But I bought it used, and it had a terrible muzzle. It looked like someone attempted to cut it off. And I wanted to cover as much as the strife anyway, and trying to cut away as much of the strife as I could. So I found a buzzsaw at a Goodwill couple days later after seeing that video. Because buzzsaws are very uncommon blasters, or not, they're not uncommon, they're pretty out there, but since I shoot ballistic balls, they're not very popular for people to buy, and they look goofy, and they don't really look too good in my opinion, and not a lot of people like the small handles on them. So I combined the two, and I liked how it was going, and then I had an icon stampede with the bit here cut off for another integration that never happened. And then I had another stampede that I had some worker parts in, and I gutted it and put it on here because I knew that I would like to have this thumb hole here. And then to kind of close the bridge between the height of the stampede and the kind of weird curviness of the buzzsaw, I put on a firefly like shroud here, and I had a firefly that was already cut up, and I took the stock off and had bits of the stock, and so I put both sides of the stock on. And if you've seen stampede and strife integrations before, you know that this gets cut out for the battery tray when you have a huge battery tray back here. And so I cut out the battery tray, and I kept all the original workings because I knew I wanted to do what this blaster has. And later down the line, I wanted to add a chrono barrel because I thought that would be very interesting to integrate. And of course, Wacom made a video about putting a chrono barrel on a Vader. So I slapped that on there with the hopes to get it working. Not really a guarantee to get it working. And here we are today. The body work was very excessive. It's all epoxy putty. It's a mix between like Fix-It Stick and a whole bunch of other putties. This was like my third integration. I was actually finishing up my first integration. My success rate with completing this kind of stuff is very low. But if you notice, it doesn't look like a strife, and it doesn't look like the parts that are added to it. So a lot of people actually are wondering what this is when I post pictures of it. And that's kind of funny. The blue here is a Rust-Oleum silver, or no, it's a metallic like metal paint used for like outdoor stuff. It has a really nice glittery blue to it. And then Rust-Oleum gloss black, Rust-Oleum white, and silver detailings were used with a silver Sharpie oil base, because oil base gets more covering area and work time in my opinion. and all the detailing was in silver and stuff. The light weathering technique was used to make it so it looks more battle worn and beat up, because the commissioner of this build wanted it to look a little beat up. I used Sharpie, colored an area, and then rubbed it on, and that gave it a kind of worn look without actually taking off any paint, more like adding paint. So there's going to the features of this blaster. Pretty basic wiring setup for the cage and wheels. It's a 41.5, or no, it's a 43 millimeter OFP Gen 3 cage, or Gen 2. It has, I believe, Michel 2 motors and Cyclone wheels. And then for the main firing of the blaster, it's a worker full auto kit. And it's the first time I've had or rewired a full auto blaster. I've never done like a lipoed rapid strike or anything like that. And so this is my first full auto mod, and it's really nice. Up here we have a voltmeter that's activated by when you take the magazine out, repurposing the magazine lock. So when you depress it, it turns off, and when you take out a magazine, it turns on. So you can't be loaded while checking your voltmeter or your voltage. This does turn on. It works, but I never got the sensors to completely work in the front here, because I don't know why, it just never seemed to work. And when I have a voltage converter back here, so it dumbs down the power of the LiPo into 2 AA batteries for this guy. So that's about it for the wiring and the internals. It has a Bobolo style rev switch, a Foam Blast style magazine release, the worker full auto trigger. The commissioner asked for all the orange pieces to stay orange, but I painted the battery door for the Stampede because I knew that I would just hate a big block of orange back here. It would have separated all the orange out pretty well, but it also just interrupted the black here with the silver diamonds, and I tried to do my best to match it from the battery door to the actual blaster there. If I open this battery tray, I did do this kind of last minute, so it's a little bit rushed, but the inside of the battery tray is padded. When Vile, he sent me a box, and he sent me a whole bunch of FEJs, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them at first, but then I was working on finishing this guy up, and I padded the inside of this with like a bunch of darts, and I'm running a brick of a LiPo. It's a 5200 milliamp 2S LiPo, and it's completely padded in there, and it's the perfect size, and there's very little wobble in the battery compartment there, meaning that your batteries won't be getting punctured by any loose plastic bits, because it's a cut-up battery tray. It's not going to be completely smooth. I could have spent the time to sand, especially back here, and some of the more weirder areas in the Stampede. If you've ever opened a Stampede and looked at the battery compartment, there's a lot of like, it's like graph paper, a whole bunch of squares in the back, and I didn't want that messing up with the LiPo's integrity. So I'll stop talking and we'll go to some firing footage and some final thoughts. Okay, got it all loaded up with its 10-round magazine. Yeah, 25-round magazine. So as you can see, this is a pretty fast-firing blaster. I used the worker motor that it came with. I didn't really have another 2S motor that I could use, so it's firing what worker intended really for it. I won't be opening it because there's a lot of screws, and it's really hard to close this thing because of how many wires are in it. But I really hope you guys like this integration. I'll make sure to leave the video link of what inspired me to do this so many years ago in the description box below. And if you'd like to check out old pictures of this guy, you can scroll through my Instagram at GrimReaper2458, and you can see some of the progress of this. Be mindful it's a year ago, so not a lot of it's funny or entertaining back then. But anyways, that's the end of this guy. I don't have a name for it because the commissioner requested to leave it nameless so they can put a name on it when they feel the blaster deserves its name, which I find okay because it's not my blaster anymore and I don't care. This will be shipped out relatively soon when everything gets handled, and I will see you guys next time.